shadow, gloom, obscurity. How do we describe darkness? In this episode, we explore words that capture the absence of light and the feelings it creates. With definitions, examples, and powerful images, let's step into the world of darkness in language. Shadow as noun. A dark area or shape produced by an object blocking incident light or rays. An indistinct or ghostly semblance of someone or something, often associated with mystery or secrecy. The shadow of the mountain loomed large over the valley below. She felt a chill run down her spine as she sensed a shadow lurking in the darkness. He caught sight of a shadow on the ground and waved playfully. The detective followed the suspect, staying in the shadow of nearby buildings to remain unseen. The tree cast a long shadow across the lawn as the sun began to set. Shade as noun. A space protected or sheltered from direct sunlight or harsh light, typically provided by an object or structure. Darkness or dimness caused by the blocking or absence of light. The room was cast in deep shade as the sun dipped below the horizon. The painting depicted a peaceful scene of a cottage in the shade of towering mountains. The dog sought refuge in the shade of the porch on hot summer days. She relaxed in the shade of the palm trees, sipping a cool drink. The awning provided welcome shade for patrons dining outside. Obscurity is noun. The condition of being unknown, unnoticed, or forgotten, lacking in fame, recognition, or public awareness. The state or quality of being obscure, unclear, or indistinct, lacking in visibility, prominence, or notoriety. The artist's work languished in obscurity until it was discovered by a prominent art collector. The documentary shed light on the lives of artists who had toiled in obscurity for years, struggling to make ends meet. The band enjoyed a brief moment of success before sinking back into obscurity as musical tastes shifted. The historical figure faded into obscurity over time, his contributions to society largely forgotten. She emerged from obscurity to become a best-selling author overnight, thanks to the success of her debut novel. Dimness is noun. A condition of reduced visibility or illumination. The state or quality of being dim, lack of brightness or clarity. As night fell, the dimness of the streetlights cast long shadows on the sidewalk. She struggled to navigate through the dimness of the forest at night. The dimness of the room made it difficult to read. The dimness of the hallway made it feel eerie and unsettling. The dimness of the stars was obscured by the city lights. Murkiness as noun. Obscurity or confusion, especially in thought, perception, or understanding. The state or quality of being murky, lacking clarity, transparency, or brightness. The murkiness of the water made it difficult to see the bottom of the pond. The murkiness of the situation only added to the sense of unease and uncertainty. The politician's evasive answers only served to deepen the murkiness surrounding the scandal. He gazed into the murkiness of the forest, unable to discern what lay beyond the trees. The murkiness of the legal proceedings made it hard to determine who was truly at fault. Blackness as noun. The quality or condition of being black or very dark in color. The state or condition of being of African descent. The experience of black people as a racial or cultural group. The blackness of the night was illuminated only by the faint glow of distant stars. The blackness of the coal contrasted sharply with the white snow covering the ground. Despite facing discrimination, he celebrated the beauty and resilience of blackness in his community. The movie explores the struggles and triumphs of blackness in America. She felt a sense of pride in her blackness and embraced her cultural heritage. Dim is adjective, having a dull or subdued brightness, not shining brightly, lacking in clarity, brightness, or distinction. The room was lit by a dim lamp in the corner. He struggled to read the dim print in the poorly lit room. Despite his dim prospects, he remained hopeful for a better future. As the sun set, the sky grew dim, signaling the approach of night. Her memory of the event was dim, and she struggled to recall specific details. Stygian as adjective, extremely dark, dusky, or shadowy, pitch black or shrouded in darkness. Of or relating to the river Styx in Greek mythology, which was believed to be the boundary between earth and the underworld, dark, gloomy, or infernal. The novel described a Stygian underworld ruled by sinister creatures and lost souls. They ventured into the Stygian depths of the abandoned mine, their flashlights barely illuminating the darkness. As night fell, the forest became a Stygian realm where even the moon's light couldn't penetrate. The entrance to the cave was a Stygian abyss that seemed to swallow all light. The room was Stygian, with only a faint glimmer of light filtering through the boarded-up windows. Dim as verb, to decrease in intensity or clarity, to make or become less bright, distinct or clear. Over time, memories of the event began to dim in his mind. The sunset dimmed as clouds rolled in, obscuring the view. She dimmed the lights in the room to create a more relaxed atmosphere. The stars dimmed as the city lights brightened the night sky. His enthusiasm for the project dimmed after encountering numerous obstacles. Nightfall as noun, the onset of darkness at the end of the day, the time when night begins. The period of transition from daylight to darkness, dusk or twilight. The forest became shrouded in darkness with the arrival of nightfall. Nightfall brought relief from the scorching heat of the day as temperatures cooled down. The city streets bustled with activity until nightfall, when they grew quiet and deserted. The villagers hurried to finish their chores before nightfall, when visibility would be limited. He enjoyed taking long walks along the beach at nightfall, watching the sun sink below the horizon. Shroud is noun, a cloth or garment used to wrap or cover a dead body before burial or cremation. Something that conceals or obscures, especially with a sense of mystery or secrecy. The funeral procession carried the deceased's body in a white shroud. The investigation was conducted under a shroud of secrecy to protect sensitive information. A thick shroud of darkness enveloped the forest as night fell. The old mansion was surrounded by a shroud of legends and ghost stories. The company's financial losses were hidden under a shroud of creative accounting. Eclipse as verb, to obscure or darken something by blocking its light or overshadowing it. To surpass or outshine something or someone in significance, fame, or reputation. Her talent as a singer soon eclipsed that of her former bandmates. The moon eclipsed the sun, creating a dramatic spectacle in the sky. His remarkable performance in the game eclipsed all previous records. The new product quickly eclipsed its competitors in sales. The tall building eclipsed the smaller ones, casting them into shadow. Crepuscular as adjective. Biology, of or relating to animals that are primarily active during twilight, such as certain insects and mammals. Relating to or resembling twilight. occurring or active during twilight. Certain species of owls are known for their crepuscular habits, hunting for prey under the cover of darkness. The crepuscular light cast a warm glow over the landscape as the sun began to set. Bats are a classic example of crepuscular creatures, emerging from their roosts at dusk to hunt for insects. Deer are considered crepuscular animals, often grazing during the dawn and dusk hours. Crepuscular rays streaked through the clouds, creating a picturesque scene at sunset. Gloomy as adjective. Dark or dim in atmosphere, often suggesting sadness, despair, or pessimism. Lacking brightness or cheerfulness, characterized by a somber or dismal mood. She felt gloomy and despondent after receiving the bad news about her job. The long, dark winter months often leave people feeling gloomy and depressed. The abandoned house had a gloomy aura, giving the impression that it was haunted. The sky grew increasingly gloomy as the storm clouds rolled in, signaling an impending downpour. The old mansion had a gloomy atmosphere, with its dusty rooms and creaking floorboards. Dusk as verb. To cause to become darker or to fade away. To grow dark or become dark as the sun sets. The sun was beginning to set, and she knew she needed to dusk the chickens before it got too dark. The fireflies came out to play as the garden began to dusk, creating a beautiful light show. The birds were quieting down as the forest began to dusk, preparing for a peaceful night. The sky gradually began to dusk, signaling the end of a long day. The lighting technician had to adjust the stage lights as the theater began to dusk. Twilight as noun. A faint or dim light or illumination. The period between day and night, especially the period of decreasing light after sunset. The wildlife became active during the twilight hours of the day. The artist painted the countryside in the soft light of the twilight. The park was a popular spot for couples to enjoy the twilight. The photographer captured stunning images of the city skyline at twilight. The novel had a mysterious and eerie tone that was set in the twilight of a small town. Twilight as adjective. Of or relating to the period between day and night. Of or relating to the period of the day between daylight and darkness, or between darkness and daylight. The twilight mood of the movie gave it a haunting and melancholic feel. The twilight years of his life were marked by reflection and contemplation. The twilight stage of the project was when the team had to make final decisions and tie up loose ends. The twilight sky was painted with shades of pink, orange, and purple. The twilight hours were when the city became alive with the buzz of nightlife. Eclipse as noun. A celestial event where one celestial body obscures or partially obscures another, such as the sun, moon, or a planet. A loss of significance, fame, or reputation due to being overshadowed or surpassed by someone or something else. The total eclipse was visible from certain parts of the world. Her success in the competition was like an eclipse over her rivals' achievements. During a lunar eclipse, the Earth's shadow falls on the moon. The discovery of a new treatment caused the previous method to fall into eclipse. The solar eclipse darkened the sky for several minutes. Murky as adjective. Cloudy and obscure, not transparent. Dark, gloomy, and gloomy. The lake water was murky and opaque, making it difficult to see any fish swimming below. The details of the contract were murky and confusing, causing disagreement between the parties involved. The company's finances were murky and opaque, leading to suspicion and mistrust among investors. The politician's murky past made many voters wary of supporting him. The origins of the legend were murky and shrouded in mystery. Envelop as verb. To enclose or wrap something completely, especially in a covering or layer. To surround or engulf someone or something entirely, as if by covering or enclosing. She enveloped the gift in colorful wrapping paper before presenting it to her friend. Dark clouds began to envelop the sky, signaling an approaching storm. The warmth of the blanket enveloped him, making him feel cozy and secure. The sound of the orchestra enveloped the audience, transporting them to another world. The fog enveloped the city, reducing visibility to near zero. Umbrage is noun, a feeling of anger caused by being offended or insulted, offense or annoyance. The politician took umbrage at the opposition's attack on her policies. The employee took umbrage at the boss's comments about his work performance. The CEO took umbrage at the suggestion that he was not a good leader. The artist took umbrage at the critic's harsh review of his work. The customer took umbrage at the store's refusal to accept a return. Tenebrous as adjective. Dark, shadowy, or obscure. Gloomy, mysterious, or murky. The tenebrous clouds foretold an impending storm. His tenebrous past haunted him wherever he went. The tenebrous atmosphere of the haunted house sent shivers down her spine. She felt a sense of unease in the tenebrous depths of the forest. The tenebrous alleyways of the old city were filled with secrets. Dusk is noun. The early evening or twilight time. The time of day when the sun sets and it becomes dark. The park was beautiful at dusk, with the sun setting over the horizon. The streetlights automatically turned on at dusk, illuminating the city streets. The photographer loved to take pictures at dusk, capturing the magical colors of the sky. The hikers were still on the trail at dusk and had to use flashlights to find their way back to the car. The animals in the forest became more active at dusk, signaling the start of their nocturnal routines. Shroud is verb. To cover or envelop something in a way that obscures or hides it. To veil or conceal something, especially with a sense of mystery or secrecy. Fog shrouded the city, making it difficult to see more than a few feet ahead. The company's financial dealings were shrouded in secrecy. The mountain peak was shrouded in clouds, adding to its mystique. The artist shrouded the sculpture in a cloth before revealing it to the audience. His past was shrouded in mystery, with few details known about his early life. Shade is verb. To cover, screen, or protect from direct sunlight or harsh light by providing or casting shade. To darken or dim by blocking or reducing the intensity of light. He shaded the lamp to soften the glare of the light in the room. She shaded her eyes with her hand as she looked into the bright sky. The canopy of leaves overhead shaded the forest floor from the afternoon sunlight. The large oak tree shaded the picnic area, providing relief from the midday sun. The umbrella was strategically placed to shade the outdoor seating area. Opaque as adjective. Difficult to understand or explain. Obscure or mysterious. Not easily seen through. Not transparent or translucent. The language used in the scientific article was too opaque for the general public. The company's financial records were opaque, and it was difficult to understand their true financial situation. The glass is opaque and you can't see through it. The meaning of his words was opaque to me. The politician's intentions were opaque and people didn't know what to expect. Level up your English. Master vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs with fun quizzes. Translate meanings into 104 languages. Download now. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel.